If you ask me to give this a star rating, because pro wrestling fans apparently love their star ratings, or is that just Meltzer? Anyway, if you asked me to rate it with stars, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, simply because it was way better than Raw. But really, am I saying something that everyone didn't already know if they watch both shows? I highly doubt it. Let's do this gimmick. The show kicked off with Zayn and Owens being the assholes that they always are, and they talked plenty of shit about how they're gonna beat AJ for the title on Sunday and become co-WWE champions. So I guess that the late cool Code Divas champion concept is being revisited again after all, which is what immediately came to mind when the handicap match was first announced. If any pair could pull something like that off, it's definitely two of the best in the company. But anyway, they talked some shit. AJ came out and basically said, "No, you're not winning on Sunday, KAMMI, and you're annoying." And I kept on wondering again on why it is that he keeps calling them that, because it's such a lame fucking way of trying to insult someone. It sounds like something that kindergartners would come up with, but kindergartners actually come up with better insults than that. I'm willing to bet that Vince is the one that keeps on insisting on that, because it just reeks of his trademark shit humor that he's known to have sometimes. Owens and Zayn then showed footage of 2 weeks ago when AJ was being interviewed in the ring, in which he said that he could beat them both in the same night individually, so they put him on the spot, and Daniel Bryan came out, started talking, but then AJ cut him off and he said, "Fuck it, I'll do it, I can take them on." Although we don't know if Bryan had actually gone out there to make it happen, or if he was gonna actually tell AJ to go find a partner which would help him take them both on tonight to keep it fair, since they've already got him 2-on-1 at the Rumble. Whatever the case, the show could have started off worse, and I enjoyed when Owens crapped on Raw for being a nostalgia trip full of old people. Ah! Chad Gable then took on and defeated one of the Usos, and I honestly can't remember which of the two, because I've never been able to tell them apart because I've never cared to check them for differences, but he won, clean in the middle, no shenanigans, after hitting him with a rolling kick that sent him to the turnbuckle. Then he grabbed him from behind and delivered yet another one of his beautiful German sixes with a bridge, and he won with it, which was pretty awesome. I don't know if it's just because I was tired when I was watching the show, but the match felt like it was all over pretty quickly. But regardless, it was entertaining, and I'm beginning to think that Gable can really pull off this cocky new heel persona. Him and Shelton are now definitely a force to be reckoned with in the tag division, and it's been fun to see them so far. Don't be surprised if they end up tag champs for real next time. And then we go backstage to Renee Young, who has a brief interview with Nakamura, and Nakamura says that his strategy for winning the Rumble is to knee everyone in the fucking face, which I think is a pretty awesome strategy. But he only said so much before Baron Corbin stormed in like the asshat that he is and said that Nakamura is all show and nothing more, and that he was all about action and not bullshit. Nakamura then challenged him to take him on later that night in an awkward way because Corbin just walked off without even a grunt or any sort of answer. But it was entertaining. It's nice to see Corbin show a bit of personality again. I remember that some would say that he was solid in his mic work in the Talking Smack shows back before it ended, but I never watched those, so I wouldn't know. I'll just take your word for it. There was another selfie promo this week from Ty Dillinger, and I didn't like the ones from last week, so I can't say that I like this one either. But hey, as last week showed us, it could have been a lot worse. They could have redone what they had the women do last week again, and nobody wanted to see any more of that. Ty said he's winning the Rumble, but everyone knows he isn't, so that's that. Then we had the Shinsuke vs. Baron match, and I found it entertaining enough. Wrestling doesn't always need to be complex in its storytelling, and what gets more basic than one dude telling another that he's full of shit, and then that other dude wanting to hit him in the face for it. At the end of the match, Shinsuke had it won, but I don't know where Randy Orton RKO'd him to the Rumble when he was about to hit Corbin with the Kinshasa. And that one was actually one that I don't think anyone saw coming. So Nux won by DQ, and then Corbin tried to get one over on Orton when his back was turned, but he ducked his clothesline, and then he got RKO'd for his troubles too. The crowd popped big for it, and I popped for it too, because that's about the most charismatic thing that Randy's done in what feels like a fucking eternity. Naomi took on What's-Her-Face, SmackDown's blonde in a trio. Ah shit, I honestly can't remember her name. Mandy Rose is the one on Raw, so who the fuck is this one? Fuck, I can't remember, and I could have checked before I started recording, but I don't care enough to do it. But anyway, not that it matters much, because both trios and both shows have lost all their momentum at this point, and this match only happened as another way to throw all the women together again into the same segment of the show as they've been doing for a while, except that they did the same thing that Asuka did on Raw. All the women started throwing each other over the top rope because Women's Rumble on Sunday. Hooray, yeah, we get it. I'm sticking to what I've been saying these past few weeks. The best part of the Women's Rumble so far has been the announcement of it, and even that was a hard pill to swallow because Stephanie tainted it with her presence. The fact that it's the first ever Women's Rumble is about the only thing that it actually has going for it so far. The New Day and Rude defeated Rusev, English, and Mahal, and it was fine. New Day did their usual nerdy and comedic shtick before the match, but with the new US champ this time, the match happened and the good guys won. The bad thing about this whole thing is that Rusev and English aren't doing their own unique thing right now, given how over Rusev is. I want more Rusev on my Blue Brand TV show, so give me more Rusev. Are they gonna completely kill his momentum too, like they've done to so many wrestlers in this past decade? And finally, last but definitely not least, the two main event matches happened. But Shane walked out to the ramp to tell Owens and Zayn during their entrance that he was going to fire them both if they got involved in each of their respective matches when they weren't supposed to. AJ took on Owens first and quickly made him tap out after Owens hurt his knee after trying to do his cannonball gimmick to flatten AJ on the turnbuckle, but Styles dodged it and locked him in the calf crusher, which KO immediately tapped out to. AJ wouldn't let go of his leg, understandably, because he's pissed at him and at Zayn for being the dipshits that they are, so Zayn rushed in and started beating the hell out of him to get him off of Owens. And it went on for minutes! Ended only right after the commercial break, so that was pretty awesome, cause we don't get to see beatdowns made up of so many strikes like that so often, and Zayn looked especially aggressive while doing it. He beat down AJ during most of the match, and Owens was at ringside on the floor being tended to by officials, but he was there throughout the entirety of the whole goddamn thing. We get that Owens is a heavy man, but goddamn! There were like 6 people around him. How did they not manage to get him on that stretcher after like the first minute of them all arriving? It was obviously to let AJ beat the hell out of him some more when he was at ringside during the match, but that kept nagging at me during the whole thing, so it took me a bit out of it. Anyway, after the second time that AJ went after Owens when he had finally been placed on the stretcher, he flipped it over, so he fell on his ass, rolled back into the ring, and BAM! Ate a flying fucking haluva kick from Zayn, who could have pinned him right there and then, but he still picked him up for a badass Blue Thunder Bomb, which he actually won the fucking match with. What? I didn't think that actually ever happened. That must surely violate some sort of law of the universe. And that was SmackDown this week. Not a bad show, and certainly a lot better than the 25th anniversary episode of Raw, which was so hyped up and so terribly underwhelming. All the stuff with AJ, Owens, and Zayn was definitely the best stuff, and even though they clearly don't care much for the women, I'm still excited to see them in the Rumble, for the botches, and because I like me some pro wrestling. You know what some say? We pro wrestling fans hate pro wrestling the most, so we're critics like that. What did you think of this week's Blue Show? Leave a comment, subscribe for more weekly shit, and if you really like the smell of this shit show, consider supporting the show on Patreon. But until then, this was 20 by 20, and I'll see you here for the Takeover and Rumble editions of the show. God damn, it's gonna be one busy week. There's a one-man crew, damn it!